So we are in Braunston still. We got stuck here not stuck, it was kind of planned here, doing lots of work on the boat. And we finished a couple of days ago. And then we were ready to leave, and we were desperate to leave because we haven't cruised for a few weeks.
And then a tractor drove past.
And then we realised that the historic boat show was happening in Braunston this weekend, and some historic boats started to arrive. And we were like, oh, these boats are nice, maybe we should stay for the historic boat show. So we have. So
the rally's down that way. Apparently it's just a whole conglomeration of boats jostling to be able to move like a very short distance and turn around.
Yeah, someone said, because all they do is go around the marina up to the junction and round, and to do that circuit, which in normal circumstances might take 10 minutes or 15 minutes, takes 2.5 hours.
So for now, we're really going to the rally. Or are we really going to the rally? Anyway, we're going to the rally.
Desperate to make that joke.
No,
and George is all dressed up and ready to go,
so hopefully we'll meet some people.
Yeah, don't know what we're going to film or what this video is going to be, so find out.
I'm told there are two sides of Morris men, either dancing now or shortly to be dancing down near the theatre.
It's quite a traffic jam. There's just 50 or something boats in just a very short distance.
Are we okay to go?
This morning we went to the Braunston Historic Boat Rally.
Which was great fun.
It was really good. I'm so glad that we hung around to go.
And it turned out that everybody was doing well, there were sort of two parades during the day where they moved the boats up just to the Braunston turn, and then everybody has what can only be described as a chaotic time trying to get straightened out and turned around, and then they come back and just go through the marina. And
there's quite a lot of coordination because at some places the boats are moored like 3 deep, and then they're travelling in both directions, and then they're coming in the marina and then passing the marina. And
there was one place where they were actually 5 deep, which was great.
Yeah. And then a couple of poor hire boaters came along that weren't expecting the parade, and
somebody who I think was just looking for diesel or whatever at Braunston Marina.
Oh,
and
gosh.
was just sitting there with a bunch of laundry, including some underwear, on the front of their boat, and apparently there was another, like a day boat where somebody jumped off into the water.
No, it wasn't a day boat, it was a hire boat. Yeah,
I wasn't actually there for that part.
They moored up opposite the marina entrance and somebody jumped in. So
and the guy who does all of the commentary. He does all the color commentary of all the old classic boats coming through. And he's got this great big blue binder with this woman who's helping him flip through it, and he reads through all of the history of the boats and stuff. And then every once in a while, like one of these hire boats will come through, and one of them that I was near, a pilot jumped on to take it through the marina, so it ended up following the same parade route as everybody else. And as it's coming through, the lady on the front was mortified because she actually said something along the lines of, "Oh, I hope they don't announce us or anything." And then the guy's just like, "And there's a modern boat coming through," and then he's like, "Thank you very much for visiting." So it was very colorful, entertaining. There was more Stancers. In fact, there's some behind us now.
Yeah, they've gone to the Admirals, and
yeah,
we thought just to have a drink, but they're back there dancing ever so often. And there was a few stalls, like there was some art stalls and some food stalls, not very good food stalls, and a beer tent and a brass band. And we met some old friends and we met some new viewers. And
I got to well, we met Chris, who's the guy who actually trained us on at Willow Wren when we got our training for the RYA course. He gave us the navigation training, and I can still hear his voice barking, "Tiller to me, tiller to you," whenever I'm going into the wrong type of curve.
And he says, "Give it some chuff."
Give it some chuff. And then we saw him on Adamant, which is a steamboat, and they actually do like a steamboat experience through Willow Wren. And so there's some volunteers who work on it, and they were all nice enough to first show me the engine and everything, and Chris was like, "Why don't you just hop on board and we'll go down to this turn?"
Yeah, as part of the parade. So Michael comes running up to me, "Can I go? Can I go?"
Yeah,
yes,
asking for permission. And then I got into the parade and basically spent the whole time down in the engine bay just looking at all of the interesting gewgaws as they moved around and stuff. Yeah, it was really good fun.
Tell me what you learned.
Well, I learned a whole bunch of stuff. This is an interesting boat because it is actually a replica of a tug that would have been used in tunnels. So they went to the steam-powered boats because basically they don't release a whole bunch, and what they do release is hot steam, and it kind of cleans the top of the tunnel. So it's kind of a replica tug hull with this 1890s, 1880s era engine that's coupled to a boiler that was made in like the 1980s. The boilers have to be replaced because they have a sort of limited lifespan. So there's this great big boiler at the front. Water gets pumped in there, and then the fireman, he like takes coal and chucks it into the fire, which has two vents into it. One vent, which is actually the place you put the coal through, and then the other one, which is actually the ash pan, where you pull the ash out, but it's also the primary air supply. So whenever you want the engine to go faster, like there's the engine itself, which you can turn faster to use the pressure, but if you need more pressure, what you actually do is open up that vent on the bottom, and that allows more air in and causes the fire to run hotter. And this boils the water, which increases the pressure, which if you get the pressure too high, it causes these emergency vents to go off, which actually deafen you very quickly. And they also spray like hot steam and water everywhere, which falls back on you as this oily sort of mix because, yeah, anyway, it's really neat. And there's all these pieces that are the actual pistons. There's a high pressure piston and low pressure piston, and everything moving kind of in concert on this camshaft, all of which is sort of slowly inundating itself with oil and water to keep itself cool, keep itself lubricated, while everything's moving every which way. There's all these noises going off absolutely everywhere. But the really neat thing about it is the actual movement of the boat is much quieter than on the diesel.
Yeah, you can't hear it coming from the outside. Really.
Yeah.
Until they blow the horn.
Yeah, and on the inside, it's like it's ticking over. You hear the sound of the engines, but it's not that it's super loud. It's just lots of little, you know, like all these different noises going. Just powering the electric generator right there. Yeah.
And what were you saying about the communication thing?
Oh, the communication's neat because there's actually a speaker tube, which I didn't see anybody use. But most of the time what happens is somebody at the back will essentially like ring a bell, and so there's a system of two short beeps, means go forward at half steam. 2 long beeps means forward full steam. 1 short beep means reverse half steam. 2 short beeps mean, or 1 long beep means, I wouldn't be a very good fireman.
You'd be like, right, so I want to go backwards.
1 long beep means backwards full. 3 beeps fast means stop the engine. And then there's another one which is 2 beeps and 2 beeps, which basically just means hold for instructions sort of thing. So there's this whole kind of code that happens. And then, you know, every so often somebody's got to run around and put oil in all kinds of little places, and there's these little brass things you flip up to find the place where the oil needs to go, and it's just a fascinating
Needless to say, Michael enjoyed it very much. Thank you, Chris.
It was great fun. Yeah, thanks to Chris, the 2 guys in the boat. Sorry I didn't catch your names, which is terrible of me. I think I was just too excited, but it was wonderful. You know, thanks for showing me the life of a fireman on a very, very, very small scale.
One thing I forgot to say is when we arrived, they were just starting the opening ceremony, and that was like an opening ceremony procession of, I think it was just 2 boats going round. But Timothy West and Prunella's girls were on the boat, so yeah, that was quite exciting. Yeah,
it was a boat and a buddy.
Right.
And they came up, and it was really neat. I'd never seen anybody do that, but they sort of pulled the boat in and the buddy behind it, and then just jiggered the boat to the side so the buddy coasted into position and then pushed it up against the side. So the buddy was on the inside and the powered boat was on the outside. It was quite a deft bit of driving.
But all in all, it was just like a really, really lovely day. And
yeah, and not to say that it should have been surprising, but like I kind of had written this one off as being not the most...
Not that something we'd be interested in.
Yeah, but it was actually just absolutely worth it. I mean, Braunston's supposed to be the center of the canal system and everything, and it is physically, but it's also just like, it's got this real life to it that was just really exciting and interesting. So yeah, Braunston's really great and totally worth visiting, whether or not the Historic Boat Rally is on or not. We're not sticking around for the rest of the boat rally. It's a 3-day rally. It's a 2-day rally. And today...
it's actually our 14th day on this mooring, so we have to go anyway.
So it's 14 days on the mooring, so that's why we've got these on. It's not to keep us safe from falling off the front of the boat. So, thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. If you ever get a chance, ride a steamboat. And like, comment, click the subscription thing and the bell, and enjoy. The bright sun god. It's like I'm just...
It's fine.
Bah. Bah.
Bah.
Bah.